First question I wanted to ask you, with everything that's happened, first of all, are you surprised?
No, no. If I have any surprise at all, it's that it has taken this long for things to come to a head. Really, I mean, things should have reached this point long ago. We have this history, and it's an interesting comment. I just like you, for a long time I said, well, the system is broken. In fact, I've said that as recently as this past Sunday's sermon, that the system is broken. But in reality, someone pointed out to me, the system isn't necessarily broken. It's working exactly the way the system was intended to. The systems in our policing, in our law enforcement, and so many other aspects of our society were frankly designed. They were intended to bestow privilege and power to us with white people, and to do that at the expense of other people of color. Our goal now really needs to be not to get the system to work the way it's supposed to, but to really restructure these systems so that we are truly living into the values of our nation.
Why is it so important for white voices to be saying something now?
Because it is vital. It's terribly important because we are the people in privilege. We are the people in power. As unfortunate as that is on the one side, we have this privilege and we have this power. Things will not change until white people stand up and they end their silence and they understand that in order for change to happen, we white people have to be available to be allies and to support the voices of our brothers and sisters of color. The first thing that we white folks have to do is educate ourselves. We need to read. It breaks our hearts to think that maybe we're part of a system that's hurting people. And it can be a very discomforting educational process, but we have to do that education. We have to read books like White Fragility and any number of others to learn about white privilege and how our systems are structured in this way. And then once we've done some education, the most important thing that we really need to do is to go to our black brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters of color, and say, what can I do to help you? I want to help you. You tell me what needs to be done. We white folks, we're accustomed to being in positions of power and leadership, and we want to drive the car, as it were. We can't do that anymore. We have to hear our brothers and sisters and be there to support them and ask them, what do you need from us? Actually, I have two daughters. They're 27 and 22 years old, and when so much of this started to break apart in our society, they actually reached out to me, and they were distraught, and they had never seen anything like this. And I said, you have to see this now, because my generation and the generation before me, we failed. We started to get the job done in the 60s and 70s, but the job is unfinished, and now it's in your hands. Because frankly, and I don't like to admit this, but I'm almost 60 years old. I will be in a couple months. I don't have the energy to be out in the streets all the time and to keep pushing this forward, but they do. They've got to take it, and to their credit, they have lived in a society that was much more accepting and understanding of minority folk than when I was a child and when I grew up. But it's still, there's such a long way to go. And I have great hope for our future. When I look at the young people who are involved in these movements now, it's inspiring to me and it's energizing to me. It is so easy to lose hope right now. And we see so many things that are negative and depressing and frustrating, and we try to do things and we just don't necessarily see the results right away, and we can fall into despair. But we have to have hope. We have to have hope. It's what's going to move us forward. We can see, as I said, from when I was a younger person, we can see that movement. It was slow movement, it was incremental movement, it needed to be much more, but there was movement. And slowly but surely we're going to get there, Rachel. We are going to get to that place. We have to keep hope. And if we listen to our black brothers and sisters and we're really attentive, and we don't just hear what they say, but we realize that so often we might hear a message, a discomforting message, and we might want to say, well, that sounds good, but you just don't understand. We can't do X. We have to understand that now it's time that we have to do whatever that X is.
Action.
We have to take steps now. And because I see the people in the streets now, I do have that hope. I really do. And of course, I'm a Presbyterian minister, but to see the actions going on now among people of faith, not just Presbyterians and not just Christians, but all people of faith and people of no faith, all uniting around this one common thing that we understand. This has to change, and it has to change now.